Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. Jordan and Keith keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know.
Jordan and Keith.
From pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
All right, guys, I'm really excited for this one. Thanks for listening to the GSMC Music Podcast. And we've got two great albums for you today. Now, the first being the Red Hot Chili Peppers album, The Getaway, and then there's Streets of Compton by The Game.
There it is.
Where do we start?
I'm not even bitter. That was a great intro.
Yes, it was. Right on, Mariano. So, yeah, our music show intro does not tell you. It's Jordan, Keith, and Mariano.
That's right.
So, there it is. And you just show and prove.
I'm like the special surprise inside of a
There you go.
Cracker Jack box.
Exactly. Right on.
that.
Do you guys want to get started with the game?
Yes.
I liked
We're
it.
doing the game?
Yes.
Okay.
Streets of Compton. So, I can...
Oh, please. I liked it.
Okay.
I know that you guys didn't feel too great for it. What I liked about it was it's different than what the game normally does. He normally has that kind of heavier, more gangster, West Coasty sound. Mm-hmm. And really that's what got him as big as he was. You know, do you remember those huge titles like One Blood and
Yes. One Blood.
Yeah, One Blood. Yeah. And when he did How We Do with 50 Cent.
Oh, yeah.
And, I loved Dreams. Yeah. And he did so many great ones, and this
That's
was
for Kanye West.
Exactly.
That's the old Kanye.
Right?
I missed that old Kanye. Straight from the go Kanye.
Fresh off the coma Kanye. But yeah, this one, it's different, but his rhymes are still there. I like that. And he brought up some important issues. I like that too.
Okay, well, so we want to tell our audience that this is a soundtrack to a documentary.
Thank you.
That
Stealing the
aired
words from my
on
mouth.
A&E.
Of the same name, Streets of Compton. It was a
three-part
three-part
documentary.
series.
Yeah, I guess it just aired a few weeks ago. Well, June 9th?
Oh,
yeah, so I still have yet to watch it, but I'm going to look for it. Okay, but so you were saying about Streets of Compton in the game?
Well, I liked it. I think I like his where he's headed, evolutionarily as an artist, because I think that old sound is good when you want to listen to old sound, but I don't think that would have cut it today. So I think that if he had to go somewhere, much like when we were talking about David Bowie.
Yes.
Okay, I'm listening.
He did okay. In terms of like if we're talking sequels having to be different but not over the top, it was something different, and I liked it a lot. But the rhymes were still there. The game was still on. I liked it a lot.
Jordan?
Speak
your truth,
okay,
bro.
I'm going to say
Speak
this.
your truth.
And I'm going to say this because
Speak your truth.
Normally, if this was our first podcast, I'd come in and say, I didn't like this album whatsoever. There were a couple songs that I kind of somewhat enjoyed. I mean, the single that they started out with, Roped Off, wasn't too bad. Really, I think the most popular song, and it was for me too, it was Like Me. I liked Like Me. That was nice. But overall, I didn't like the album too much. I don't see this as something I'm going to be listening to.
I didn't care for it at all.
Much
I
past this.
like support content.
Did you like Me? Did you like that song at least?
I don't think so.
No, so there wasn't even a song for you that did it.
No,
Well,
that's the one where he talks about with the gang signs. I mean
I want to go back. I don't even think I like Roped Off. I just liked Like Me, and like I was saying, I'm normally prepared to say I don't like this album, but every time we do this podcast, you guys do bring up good points, and it kind of makes me reconsider my position. But for right now, after everything I've heard, no, it didn't. It wasn't good. It wasn't his best.
I was very disappointed. I
was disappointed too.
At all. And then, so in regards to production that you were talking about, like, so it all sounded like one producer. And I'm seeing that it was different producers. That just makes me even like it even less. Because it's like it sounded like it all came from the same person.
As a collection, they messed up.
I mean, yeah, it's multiple producers on this record, and it all sounded like it was just one producer. And maybe he was going for that. I mean,
I was going to say, I thought it gave it kind of a cohesiveness.
Well, it did. It did. The production, to me, was probably the most cohesive thing about the record.
Okay.
So I'll give you that, but after hearing the documentary 2 and the documentary 2.5, this was a letdown. The documentary 2 and 2.5 to me were amazing.
Yeah, those
records.
were good albums.
I saw him grow lyrically. I'm a Game fan. his delivery was excellent. His introspection was great.
His features are good. Have you heard those lately?
Yes, I mean, but this album I didn't care for at all. But I do need to watch I do want to see the documentary, but I was disappointed.
Oh, you know what? Let me bring up this point. You just kind of popped this into my head.
Yes.
This is based on a documentary?
Yes.
Would you agree that this one lyrically is at least compared to other game works, like it's very descriptive?
Yes.
Yeah,
but I felt like it was very redundant, though, to me. Though.
You're saying that it felt like it was meant for
well, it was meant for the.
I know,
it's
but
the soundtrack, which is fine. But I just felt like it was just redundant, repetitive.
And I'm sure the soundtrack's amazing. Let's disclaimer it. I mean, I'm sure that it fits well with the soundtrack. I mean, with the documentary itself in relation. If that's what you're trying to get at, I
like to think so. I need to watch the movie still, the documentary.
But I don't think it doesn't stand on its own. It's
not for me.
No,
I liked it. Yeah, but
which is cool. Yeah. I mean, it's just 2-1. Like I said, it's
okay.
good
What did you like about it? And could you compare it to other game records?
He mentioned it earlier, though. He mentioned it earlier. But
like in comparison, like how?
Okay, let me compare. Let me put this in terms that I think, well, hopefully that I think people could agree with. What I like about hip hop and the legends of hip hop is they have their kind of unique sound, yet they adapt.
Okay.
When I think of old Jay-Z and Big L to, brand new Jay-Z when he was with Justin Timberlake on Holy Grail, or when he was in Drake's album doing features here and there, and Kendrick's album doing features here and there, and he's still good. But his rhymes have changed since Bonnie and Clyde, since Dirt Off Your Shoulders, since,
Sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
And the game...
They're supposed to an extent.
Exactly. And the game is a staple in West Coast hip-hop.
Yes, he is.
And he carried California for a long time when it came time for that kind of battle with the other guys from like the East Coast. And he and 50 Cent, they did a lot for Dr. Dre and Eminem and just that record and just that sound. And he's evolving, but lyrically, he's still there.
I will say one thing I like about the record is he made sure to reference and remind people that he was before Kendrick and Nipsey Hussle.
Exactly.
So he was the guy from Compton. So there's NWA, and then Compton's children would be the Game, Kendrick, Nipsey. So I mean, just like that. Plus, there's Compton's Most Wanted and other people, of course.
He's
but
definitely...
people forgot that he held up that banner before Kendrick came along, and he put Kendrick on one of his records before people knew who he was.
I almost feel like he tried to be kind of the liaison of like new school by incorporating rap styles and different like variances in flow and tempo that he wouldn't do before, but are not so new. Almost to say as if I can rap with the newer artist, but I am an older artist.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So Like Me is fine. I was thinking about the Can't Wait song. I didn't care for that song at all. It really kind of bothered me, actually.
There was some, and I think like For the Homies, which I think was supposed to be an emotional, touching song. It didn't reach to me. It really didn't.
I felt like this was a repetitive record for him.
Exactly,
he's a better
you guys
rapper
said it
than
yourself.
this.
He has his credentials, and maybe if this wasn't the game, maybe if this was anyone else, I might cut a little bit more slack for the album. But you go into something like the Game's records, you're going and expecting something. You're expecting so much, and it's so easy to get let down as time goes on. Because
ouch.
For every good record he comes, the stakes kind of get raised higher and higher.
Well, I mean, out of all his records, I mean, there's one album I didn't buy, but I have most of his. I think I have all of his albums since the documentary.
Yeah,
is there any of them that you have a complaint about? Like, would you say this is the worst one you've heard out of those?
Yes.
Okay, so that's an easy dot to connect.
Well, once again, but I'm glad that Mariano told us that his thoughts on the record, because that's cool that you dig it. And as I said before, in regards to the multiple producers all sounding the same, I mean, they did make it cohesive. So if that was on point and on purpose, then good job. They did that.
Right, they did what they set out.
Right, that might be the most consistent thing for me on this record. But yeah, for me, I can't recommend it. But I will go back and I highly recommend classics like the documentary, and then his sequels to that, Documentary 2 and 2.5. Those are must-haves. I think those were great.
Well,
records.
I'd recommend those up there with like the Wu-Tang Clan as just essentials for hip hop.
Yeah,
he's a legend. I think he is.
You
know what? Actually, I'll give that to you. I like the album. I didn't dislike the album, but if I were to create like in essentials, if someone were to come to me and say, "Give me the spirit of hip hop," and like 20 even albums, this wouldn't be in it.
Right.
No, even 20 songs. I don't think there's a song in here. I mean, like I said, there was the one that
The first track
really
was
like.
not. I like the Support Compton song. The first track I like. I do like that song a lot.
I did liked it, but I didn't like it enough to if we're creating that essentials, even if it's
Right.
And I'll give you Hit the News too.
Well, just understand, guys. Understand what it means. Which is something that I want to get into, so I think I'm actually going to save it, and I'll let you guys kind of sit on that for a while, okay? We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we get back, we'll be reviewing what I've been waiting for, which is the Chili Peppers' new album, The Getaway. I couldn't be more excited. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be right back.
I'm excited. You're excited.
I know,
okay,
right?
We'll see you guys soon.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
And we are back. Thank you so much for listening. Now, the time has come, my friends. The Red Hot Chili Peppers' new album, The Getaway. You like that?
I'm so excited.
Oh,
how
man.
excited you
So
are.
am I, man. This is really cool.
I am the biggest Chili Peppers fan I've ever met. They're my number one favorite band, absolutely, of all time. My number one favorite song comes from them. And this album, it wasn't my favorite, but I did like it. And one of their songs, Goodbye Angels, I really dug it. But before I go on my rant, I want to know what you guys thought about it.
I like the album. I think it's cool. I don't think it's great. I haven't felt great since Californication and By the Way, but I do like this album. I like the album before this one too, with the fly on the front.
Yeah.
So that's all I remember. I like that one too. But yeah, this is it's a nice welcome album, and I love the cover art.
Right?
I love.
I always love the cover art, and I always love the music videos. They're so artsy. I love the Chili Peppers.
I'm going to say.
So, and the more I listen to it, the more I like it. So yeah, I'm digging it. Go ahead.
It does grow in you. That's something. And I'm sure that if we did this review a week later, like an update on how we feel, there's a good chance I'm going to have a completely different idea of it, because it's not even just listening to it over and over again. It's giving time to let the album resonate with you. That's something that's really heavy with that. But I was kind of let down for the same reason I was let down by the Games album, which is the fact that I was expecting a lot with it being the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I was a bit disappointed because a lot of it some of the songs were good. I enjoyed some of the songs on it, but some of it felt a bit generic. It felt like someone was like, hey, I can make a Red Hot Chili Peppers song. Listen to this. And they started playing.
Well, I will. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and I'm pretty much wrapped up on that thought. But what I did want to say about it is, while it did have a couple standout songs, what piece I can leave, and then I won't say another word this entire episode.
Don't say that.
Yeah, no, of course
that's not
not.
true. Because you're gonna keep talking. I know you.
Yeah, guilty. But
go ahead.
The thing is that if I'm composing an essential list of Red Hot Chili Peppers albums, like, oh my God, you've been on a desert island for 30 years, you don't know who they are? Hold on, let me fix something up. I don't think I would put a song from this album on it.
If you were from a desert island and didn't know the Chili Peppers, I'd leave you there.
I mean, that's fair.
A little too passionate. Let's come down a bit.
No,
Nonsense.
No. Hey, I understand, my brother. I understand. To be fair, though, to what you just said, their early catalog is classic.
Oh,
it is.
It's really
like I said. With the game, every good album that you do, you're setting yourself up to more perfection. There's more to deliver.
But let me be more specific. Like Freaky Styley, classic record produced by George Clinton. Mother's Milk, to me, which reminds me of the last of their old sound, and they peaked with that. That's an amazing record. That record led way directly to Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Yeah.
So
that's my favorite.
So
and these are all classics that you're naming.
Right. So to be fair, with the newer stuff, it's going to be kind of hard, man. And that's like a curse that a lot of musicians and great artists that we like have, is when you compare their new stuff to their old
But it
stuff.
really shows how good of an artist it is when it's hard to like take away. It's hard to disconnect
And you're
the two.
right. And
It
you're
really
right.
shows how great the Red Hot Chili Peppers are, that you can't separate this album from every other album. Because you're not just talking about an artist, you're talking about a legacy. You're talking about several anthems for several different occasions, several things that people, when they hear the right song, are going to hold their lighter up to.
Well, so I guess, yeah. So that whole lighter thing, but okay.
I don't get it either, but yeah.
but yeah, so I will say this though. To your point, I understand what you're saying. I don't necessarily know if that's fair because their early albums are so monumental.
And I agree with you. This isn't fair.
I think
this
Mariano
isn't fair,
can help me
but
with this. They're so monumental.
That's just an effect that they have on me.
But I
I'll,
will
I'll
say-
jump in. I was just waiting for you guys to
But
jump
I
in.
will say Californication though for me, and by the way, those will be on the island with me.
Yeah.
I really like those records a lot. And that's probably, by the way, it's probably my favorite album with Anthony singing, just singing.
This is how serious I am about the Chili Peppers. If I could have one CD on an island for the rest of my life, and it doesn't even need to be like an artist, like a mix CD, it'd probably still be all Chili Peppers anyway.
That's cool, man.
Really, so
I can dig it.
do you think that this album ranks among some of the best for you? No,
But I
Okay.
did like it though. I was saying I'd like it. I'm excited that they still put out a good album, but I will say though
Right.
that
Because it's so easy to put out a bad one. It's so
Yeah,
easy.
it is, especially when you've done so good.
For over 20 years.
But can
For
I
over
say
20
then?
years.
Can I say then as songs?
Yes.
"Goodbye Angels" to me ranks up there with the classics.
Okay.
Like I could play.
Okay.
Just think of the song how it sounds. Now just think of this playlist: Scar Tissue, Danny California, and then that "Goodbye Angels." It just
I can see that
blows.
fitting
Other
in, yeah.
Side, Snow.
See,
But that's the thing
okay,
about Red
see-
Hot Chili Peppers, because you can know a Red Hot Chili Peppers song instantly. I mean, with it be not just even the vocals, but just their whole style.
right, the whole sound.
It's
is just,
identifiable. So
Usually,
it's
yes.
easy to
Usually.
take each song from a Red Hot Chili Peppers
Although with
album,
this album, I'm not
and
sure.
put
With
it
this
like
album-
a puzzle piece and fit them all together.
But with this album, I'm not sure. Because the music, because,
You felt it was a breakaway?
well, yeah, I did actually. I
Really?
did.
I think.
Well, and I'll tell you why, but go ahead.
Oh no, go please go ahead.
What I noticed, and I'm glad I picked up on this. This looks like the first album that was not produced by Rick Rubin since Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
produced by Danger Mouse,
Yeah.
and it's mixed by Nigel Godrich. So Danger Mouse, for those of you who don't know, he is the other half of Gnarls Barkley with CeeLo. So that's Danger Mouse. He's an amazing hip hop producer. Well, he's not even just a hip hop producer. He started off doing hip hop and DJing, and he is a producer. He is amazing. He produced the last great Beck album that I like, which is called Modern Guilt. He produced that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So
Can
I
just
love
toss
Danger
in,
Mouse. So
for the sake of what we were saying earlier,
go
that
ahead.
album
Sure.
with the fly on the pill,
Yes.
came out in 2011. It's called "I'm With You."
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a good album.
Yeah, very
That's
good,
a good
album.
album.
Rain Dance Maggie, that's a good song. Check it
Yes. So and that's the first album with the new guitarist.
out. Yes,
And his name.
his name was John. I want to say like Kliphoff, but let me pronounce this right, and I'll get right back to that.
Yes, because he's
I'm
also on
really
the new album.
glad that you
so-
brought up Beck, because that's going to be perfect. As I was saying, that there's that disc. It's hard to give that disconnect with Chili Peppers. There we go.
How
Tongue
dare
twister.
you?
Tongue twister, yeah. It's hard to disconnect it, and I think a lot of it is because the songs are so easily, it feels the same style, and at a point, it gets a bit like, and for me, I know I'm about to get like a really dirty look from Mariano here, that
Speak your truth, bro.
I'm going to speak my truth, as you always say. The thing about the Red Hot Chili Peppers it's easy to make it sound generic. It's easy to make fun of it and sound like a cliche Red Hot Chili Pepper song, because so many of their songs do have so many similarities. Now, with Beck, that's an artist that it's so much easier to disconnect his work from every other thing he's done, because every other thing sounds so different to me. Well, you have each album it's a different genre sometimes.
Well, unfortunately, I have to say, my brother,
I disagree
I have
too.
to give you the dirty look with Mariano.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you truly listen to the Chili Peppers catalog,
Yeah,
it's
there's a big
it's
difference
very
between
diverse.
Scar Tissue and Can't Stop.
Yes.
right.
No, and there
yes.
are some differences, but there's so
Yes.
many similarities that there's songs that bridge the differences between those to me.
Even if
True,
you
but-
listen to the Arcadium Stadium album,
Yeah,
you
Stadium
guys both-
Arcadium.
Stadium Arcadium, the double album.
Yeah.
you listen to this new album, there's a change in sound. There's a change in sound. There's another producer, as well as I'm mentioning.
There's a
another
change of
reason
sound,
why.
and then there's a change of sound, and sometimes those like one is a bridge between the other two. I think that
Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, can I just inject? Josh Klinghoffer, new guitars for the Chili Peppers after John Frusciante.
Thank you.
Continue.
Yeah, he's on for these last 2 albums.
I wanted to say
and
that
he came in, he fit in perfectly.
If you can imagine the Red Hot
perfectly.
Chili Peppers song catalog as a puzzle, there's the top corner piece, all right? That's going to be something that's not going to match anywhere near one of the bottom pieces, right? But there's going to be a song that fits
I don't
in
know.
between.
But it's not. But it's not supposed to, though.
No, and that's my point, though.
But every album is basically different, though. By the way, is different from this record, bro.
No, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
It's different from this record.
There's some albums that are very different, but the Red Hot Chili Peppers, it feels like you can kind of piece these together. There's a middle. There's a bridge to it.
They pushed the boundaries just like Beck.
I was going to say.
They probably pushed them before Beck, keeping it real. I'm a Beck fan. They pushed it before Beck, bro.
Can I make a point that might change your mind on what you're saying right now?
Okay.
I get what you're saying. It's different. It's not normal Chili Peppers that we're used to. But if we're talking in terms of artists kind of adapting, I think that they actually made a conscious effort for this one to be different, and I respect that. And I think that much like Evanescence, the first and second album, they were way different. Maybe someone who liked the first wouldn't like the second, but maybe somebody who never liked the Chili Peppers before will now like this album.
And that's a great thing to say.
Right?
I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
We're going to have to go to commercial break, and that helps because
back.
that was the perfect closer you would have ever had. So when we come back, we're going to do a wrap-up of the 2 albums, so we'll see you guys very soon.
Right on. We're still recording.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's gsmcpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. Now, we just reviewed the game, Streets of Compton, and the Getaway with Red Hot Chili Peppers. So,
right on. I support the Chili Peppers record. I think it's a good album. It's good to hear them again. I'm glad they used a new producer, Danger Mouse. I want to mention real quick, Nigel Godrich mixed the record. He is known and famous for producing like Radiohead records, possibly all of them.
That's interesting. I always love the trivia that you throw in because it's cool the dots that are connected between these 2 artists.
And I was going to say, going back on what you said, and we're going to get into the game real quick. We're going back into what you said. If you were to take the vocals out of this record from the Chili Peppers, I would not have known it was a Chili Peppers record.
Right? But you see what I mean?
I wouldn't have known that.
I think you're right. I
wouldn't have known that.
I approached it a little bit more cynical at first with it. But like I said, my interview could have completely changed because that album has this. There's a resonation to it, and I noticed myself changing my opinion about several songs I listened to throughout the whole. My first listen.
And it's not going to be Blood Sugar Sex Magic. It's not going to be Californication.
Yeah.
It's not going to be where you're hyped up and jumping around and running. It's a more mellow. These guys are, they're older now.
Yeah.
They've been around. They ain't their first rodeo. They've been around for a minute, so they're doing their thing still. But
even like their 6th rodeo.
Right, so this is a mature Chili Peppers giving us a mature, good record.
Right,
so it could be a really bad pop record, but it's not.
I'm going to pass the mic off to Mariano. We can talk about the game, but I do want to just say this: after before what you said before the commercial break, I agree with you, Mariano. I really like I said, I can't come in here with any conceived notions because you guys do bring up a lot of excellent points about the album. So I think I should get out of my own box when it comes to these things because I have such high respect for Red Hot Chili Peppers and the game and several others artists where I feel like any wrong slight move could just let me down because, I've kind of grown up with them at this point. So,
and I'm glad that you bring that up because that brings me to a very good question for both albums, but I want to start with the game.
Yes.
Okay. I know perception, kind of what you think about an artist, it's based on what you think. Now, considering the adaptability that people change,
right?
How much how much did the Games album this time, how different was it from Documentary 2.5? And keeping it in that perspective, how do you feel about it?
Lyrically, he went backwards.
Think so?
He took like 4 to 5 steps forward with Documentary 2 and 2.5. Because first of all, when you do a sequel to your classic, we just expect one album.
Oh, of course.
This cat gave me 2 of them.
Yeah.
And that's
that
risky
wasn't done
too.
before. He gave me 2 of them, and they were both dope.
I think he did one really long one, which is why he decided to name the other one 2.5. It was just,
But I'm glad he did.
Oh, of course.
I'm glad I got both those records. I'm okay, he flipped the script. Because Nas gave you Illmatic, and eventually he gave you Stillmatic.
Yeah.
Slim Shady gave you the Marshall Mathers LP Part 2.
See, now we're getting into good hip-hop. Like
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when Game did that, it was amazing. I love those 2 records. I played those records for months.
You see what I mean? Because that's what the greats do. I love that.
That's why That's why I don't like this record, because I'm like, this is not my game. This is the game from like maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
This ain't the game I know.
Oh, but let me
lyrically.
Let me propose.
I know the guy, but
let me propose an idea to you.
But I still need to watch the movie because I might feel differently when I watch the documentary.
Well, here's the thing.
To be fair,
let me propose an idea to you, though.
Okay.
You phrased it for me perfectly just now. This is the game from 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is a documentary. How old is the documentary supposed to be? Like, what game is this supposed to represent? That was my question in this whole thing.
Okay.
But I know that...
Point taken.
Before you get into that, though, tell me about Detroit, because you're from Detroit, and I like that, and I want to know how you felt about the song.
So, the song from the Chili Peppers, Detroit, I liked the song, but I was kind of confused. My only complaint about this new album with the Chili Peppers is the lyrics. They're not that clear cut for me. I mean, I guess there's some symbolism. And a lot of artists do that. They don't always give you something that's direct with their lyrics.
Right.
A lot of times they want you to have it open for your own interpretation. Mm-hmm. And that's a gift, too, because everybody can't write that way.
Right.
So, I'll read you some of the lyrics on this song, Detroit, from the Chili Peppers.
Should I Should I bust a beat?
No.
Go ahead.
Not this time, but we'll talk about that. Find me in the suburbs and the shadow of decay. Rolling rings of rubber, and the band begins to play. Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
Am I on the right side of the left side of your brain? Can you see the rising of old yesterday's remains? Funkadelic said it best. I think you know the rest. Time don't stand a chance against this motor madness. Okay, I think I'm getting that. Okay, because Funkadelic was not from Detroit, but they moved to Detroit.
Yeah.
They made some great records on Westbound Records. Don't you worry, baby. I'm like Detroit. I'm crazy. That's where I get kind of messed up. Okay. Don't you worry, baby. I'm like Detroit. I'm crazy. Keeps that. That's the hook. Now, he does reference the Stooges and Jay Dilla. Yeah, they tore this town apart. Put me back together. Well, I guess that's quite an art. I like that. So the Stooges, they're from Detroit, from Ann Arbor, Iggy Pop Stooges. They're considered possibly the first punk rock band that's coming out of the D. Of course, we talked about Jay Dilla last week.
Right.
From the D. So it was cool to see him reference those people. And he's like, yeah, they tore it apart. They made it crazy. Now we're trying to get it back together again. So I guess I'm getting that. But, Henry won the war, you see, but not with the pen of the sword. He's talking about Henry Ford. So I guess I am understanding the song now when I'm reading it.
It seems, like your face is making this like revelation look every time you're reading a lyric.
Okay.
Do you like the game more now?
The game has
Do you like
levels.
this album?
No, this is the Chili Peppers. Man.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No,
that's the Chili Peppers. That's Detroit from the Chili Peppers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's not from the game, bro. That's the Chili Peppers.
Oh, excuse me.
So you had me go midstream from the game to the Chili Peppers.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay. It's all good. Huh? So that's from that's probably that's now my favorite song now from the Chili Peppers on this record. This one, Dark Necessities. Dark Necessities
had a nice sound, but I urge you guys to listen to the one that I was talking about earlier.
Goodbye Angel?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll get back to it. No, I like the album. I recommend the album. I think it's a great record. It's a nice return to form. It's good to see them again. They always come with great musicianship, good live performance. They
do perform well live.
Yeah, so it's cool. It's a lot of fun. But in regards to the game, I'm not with it. But the Chili Peppers one, I like that. That was interesting. Okay, I'm glad I read the lyrics.
I'm not even going to ask which album beats it because obviously you're Red Hot Chili Peppers, Keith, and Mariano. I
But I'm glad we review both the records, though.
Yeah.
And he's got me wanting. I still want to watch the documentary called Streets of Compton.
I do too.
Because
I'm really curious.
I may feel differently about the soundtrack after watching. The movie.
Maybe we should just do this episode again after a week, and we listen to the documentary.
You know what we should do though?
Well, it could be part of the movie.
I was gonna say we should do the
podcast.
documentary as a movie one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we'll do
That's
that.
interesting.
We'll do that. Then.
But even before you watch the documentary, keep into account maybe he was trying to give it an old school sound.
You guys are hearing the
my sound wasn't
process.
the sound wasn't the problem for me. It was the lyrics.
That's what I meant. But like the lyrics is part of the sound to me.
That's true.
Because back then,
That's
when you
true.
think of way back in the day, think of how lyrics were different and how rappers had that different kind of tempo to what they would say.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you're right. Like I said, great point. I will watch the documentary. We'll all watch it and probably review it for our movie podcast.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Up and coming.
Nothing
And
set in
if it
stone,
sound-
but yeah, we'll try to throw it in.
See if it feels differently once I do that. But,
Right.
But like I said, but right now, it's I'm not recommending this record. But
No,
like I
me
said,
neither. But I
do
check out the rest of the game's catalog. He's fantastic. I mean,
Get the last two records.
I love you guys
definitely.
just for trying. I liked it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And respect
Chili
to you.
Peppers?
I mean, I'm not gonna.
What's that?
And Chili Peppers.
Oh, of course, get the Chili Pepper album.
Yeah, it's a good album. So, and now he's got me digging the Detroit song because I'm understanding it.
You
more
see why I
now.
love the Chili Peppers?
And as we've gone on, I'm slowly starting to like the album more than I originally did. And I already knew that I'm going to be open. I'm not so closed off on my opinion of it because it has changed in my mind a lot since the first
Right.
listen.
Well, like we said, so I mean, it's a good album.
Yeah, it's
everybody
give it a try.
Yeah, making a great album that doesn't happen every day for any. Your best artist won't always make a great album.
Right.
I don't care who they are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you can make great albums and good albums, you've done your job.
And for as long as they have, too.
You've done your job.
Right?
Yeah. So right on. So that's awesome. So to quote the Strokes, I've got nothing to say.
Well, then you know what? It might be time
nothing to say.
It might be time to take us out of here then.
Do you mind if I say what's happening next week?
Oh, please.
Please do.
I haven't told you guys what's happening next week because I'm springing this up. So let's feel free to edit if this isn't working out. But I'm
All right.
saying what we do, Chance the Rapper's coloring book, and I've got one more for you that's really going to blow your minds. The Avett Brothers, True Sadness.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
All right.
do that.
Okay.
So you guys heard it here first. Avett Brothers and Chance the Rapper coming up next.
But we also got to tell you, too, just let you know, we got love for you. Ro James, El Dorado, and the Violent Femmes. We can do
Oh,
anything.
yeah.
Those are coming up, too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Very soon. So,
those are going to be on the roster. So you guys hang around. We've got.
So we got more stuff for you, and we try to always mix it up for you.
Definitely.
So,
We do our best.
yes.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. Now, you can catch us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, and GSMCpodcast.com. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you so much for listening. That's Keith. That's Jordan. I'm Mariano.
See you somewhere out in space.
There you go.
Somewhere out in space.
Oh, there you go again.
There we go.
You just couldn't let it go, could you?
I try so hard.
Get your own.